Konnichiwa and welcome to episode 31 of the Leadership Japan podcast. And I am your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Story, president of Dale Carnegie Training Japan. And much more importantly, you are a student of leadership, highly motivated to be the best in your business field. If you would like your own access to 102 years of the accumulated wisdom of Dale Carnegie Training through free white papers, guidebooks, reports, training videos, blogs, course information, plus much, much more, then go to japan.dalecarnegie.com. Today's topic is the 11 R's of handling mistakes. Mistakes. A very tricky area for managers to handle. The range of manager reactions runs the gamut from instantaneous combustion to a passive shoulder shrug. Not surprisingly, a lot of that hot air about empowerment wafting around the upper echelons of the organization dissipates immediately when something major goes wrong. The manager and colleague dash for the exits before any of the debris attaches itself to the persons of those in close proximity. That dash is contrasted by the arrival of corporate death squads to locate the guilty. Here are some cascading R solutions, R because they all begin with the letter R, to provide some thinking about mistake wrangling. Number one, research. A novel idea for some folk who can be quite quick off the mark when reacting, but start with establishing your actual facts before the guilty are set free and the innocent punished. Even better, try and look behind the facts to the motivations in play. The gap analysis starts with the hypothesis that this person is worth saving. This hypothesis having been established, it is then tested against each of the facts of the situation as they emerge. Japan is a masterclass in hiding problems, denying any responsibility and ducking for cover. Expect you will have to dig hard to find out what really happened and why. Our next R is R for rapport. Hopefully, there is an existing reservoir of goodwill and mutual trust built on fair treatment over a long period of time between the person in question who's made the mistake and their manager. What's that you say? You don't have any of these items in place with your current team member in question? Well, that will need a separate podcast in its own right to thrash that one out. For the rest of you, try putting the guilty party at ease and do your best to reduce their anxiety. Begin with honest appreciation supported by evidence. Fake smiles, insipid false praise, the dagger clothed are all to be avoided. Instead, look for the aspects of the individual's work behavior that has been observed that warrants appreciation. Start searching for the glass half full bits associated with this team member. After all, none of us are 100% perfect nor 100% evil. Well, very few are 100% evil. The next R, reference the mistake or issue. Focus on the problem, not the person. Play the ball, not the player, to use a sporting analogy. In your discussions, try using we rather than you and constantly depersonalize the problem. You might recall it wasn't Houston, you have a problem. Try phrases such as, we have to find ways to fix this. We all need to uncover the underlying issue. We need complete transparency and honesty to resolve this completely. The most effective perspective is that the action was wrong, not the person who made a mistake. Let them explain what happened. At this stage, we are gathering facts and information, identify what needs to be fixed immediately and for the future. Really focus and listen carefully for acceptance of responsibility. This will completely determine the next steps. By the way, keep calm as the sequence leading up to the train wreck unravels before your eyes. Over the years, dealing with various staff compliance violations, my biggest insight was early admission and acceptance of the problem led to the minimum bloodshed. Efforts to hide the error seem to miraculously puff the problem up to enormous proportions. In short order, the whole thing then blows up and the person is no longer recoverable. Our next are restore performance. Reduce or eliminate the consequences of the error. Resolve to try to eliminate a reappearance and restore the person back to performing again. If the team member accepts responsibility, we go into effective questioning, not interrogation, active listening, and personal coaching. Seek means to encourage them to suggest ways to fix the problem. It is critical to get them involved in the decision-making process so that we can reinstall ownership. On the other hand, for the employees who don't take responsibility, the performance expectations of the manager need to be restated. Apply coaching on the importance of responsibility, moving toward the full restoration of their accountability for the mistake. Our next are reassure. Mistakes, errors, slip-ups, failings, etc. negatively affect our level of confidence. Going forward, their challenge spirit to embrace the new and different sails right out the window. As managers, we need to keep the organization surging ahead, and so we need to get this team member back on track. Assure them of the importance of the role they are playing and their value to the organization. Clear expectations and clear communication of our belief that they can still play an important role need to be explained. They have to be assured that the organization is behind them and will continue to provide a career path for them. Expect this will be a difficult sell because cynicism rules. Next are retain. It is not simply a matter of retaining the person on the payroll. Retain their motivation and commitment. Be aware of the influence this has on the rest of the team. Everyone is observing and thinking, but for good fortune, there go I. They want to see what the manager does and know what they can expect if it ever happens to them. Never forget, you are a manager of Japan's Olympic level representation in boss watching. Your every nuance is read far and wide and usually misinterpreted. If you hit heavy resistance, particularly refusal to take responsibility or permanent and constant denial, then move to plan B, which comes next. Restate. Restate the facts, stress the seriousness of this mistake, revisit the policy of the organization, and recount the remedy to the issue. At this point, they are given a fresh chance to reflect, correct, and move forward. Next are reprimand. Now, if the restating didn't work out too well, and they are still not taking responsibility, then the situation is going into a possible death spiral. Hold a more formal discussion, clearly documented, with the content recorded in their file. Final R, replace. Well, if plan B just discussed hasn't worked and there is no progress on the accountability front, then, well, we have to move to plan C. If your organization is big enough and flexible enough, this may mean a reassignment to another part of the company. If not, then it could require removal of the person from the firm. In Japan, this is a rocky road that is best dealt with generously to have a smooth transition out of the company. If you can't reach an amicable agreement that allows them to leave of their own accord, and you have the means, pay the money. The collateral damage will be less, the time involved will be less, your lawyers won't be buying that charming villa near Firenze in Tuscany on the proceeds, and the wear and tear will be a lot less on everyone, especially you. If you don't have the money, good luck. You are entering a war zone called the Japanese legal system, where there will be casualties on both sides. No R solutions available for that baby, unfortunately. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan podcast. Remember, to access your Dale Carnegie Training free white papers, guidebooks, training videos, blogs, course information, much more, then go to japan.dalecarnegie.com.